Hey!
Hey!
Internet.
This is our first video.
As you can tell, we didn't really discuss intros. But we are Team Endgame on Tumblr. My name is Gavin.
I'm Kate.
And we are brother and sister who have been watching PLL for quite some time. And we've always talked about live blogging and kind of doing videos and stuff, but we were always afraid that we weren't funny enough, and maybe we're not.
We're probably not.
We're probably not. We're also like way too old to be watching Pretty Little Liars, but that's okay. We're in it till the end, as I know many people are. So this is our first video, and we're pretty excited, and we hope that someone likes it, someone gets something out of it. We've really loved so far just kind of comparing notes and theories and seeing what everyone has out there. There's so much talent in the Tumblr and YouTube communities especially that we just really love being a part of it. So we figured we would talk about 7/12, which is an interesting episode to start our like little
live thoughts.
Yeah, because it was kind of a crappy episode, which seemed to be echoed by like everyone. Just in the sense that there really didn't seem to be many answers, and it was a lot of filler, and I think
supposed filler.
So also I'm like dying, so I apologize. Yeah. But we realized that we're probably being like a little optimistic and maybe giving Marlene and company a little too much credit.
In her 18.
By saying that there might have been like hidden answers. One of the things, I did a longer post about this on the blog that you can read if you'd like, but one of the things that I actually think was answered for us, I think as much as I actually thought everything Jenna said was complete BS when I think, and most of it was, I actually think that her talking about Noel being cut off by his family, and even possibly her own financial motive regarding her surgery and whatnot, I actually think that was true, and I think that's a big piece of the puzzle. I never considered before that anyone who is helping Charlotte or or whoever this real person is with all this money very well could have been financially motivated, and I actually think that the bigger answer that we received there is that Noel is the one who killed Charlotte.
Yes, I agree.
I think they definitely have inferred that he killed Sarah Harvey. I think he inferred that he killed Sarah Harvey when he threatened Hannah in 7A at the end of 7A, with saying that she was going to end up like Sarah. But I think that Charlotte promised them money and maybe didn't come through, or maybe when she got released she really did want to try and change her ways, and something. I think that he is the one who killed her, and I think that is what he thought the girls knew too much about, because
they know nothing, because we know nothing, and we know more than they do.
Well, and so the question is, was something that implicated him and or Jenna. I mean, I'm not quite sure where Jenna's role is in this yet. Did something on the flash drive implicate them in Charlotte's death?
Right.
Which is what they think the girls know of, and that's why they wanted to get it back so much. Or was it financial records, something that proved that they have been working for Charlotte, and therefore it would criminally implicate them?
Right. Or, I mean, just what we saw on the flash drive of Noel being involved in the dollhouse is a crime.
Right,
so
right.
Charlotte got off of the crime part because she was crazy, and they let her go to,
But we also don't know what else was on the flash drive, because they made a point of saying that they did not want to see all of it.
7 years. 7 years.
How they
have not yet learned.
No, we don't know.
And there was a time jump, so it's been more than 7 years, So
I think that was an answer that we were given. What it means in the grand scheme of things, I don't really know, except for the fact that I never believed that Charlotte's killer and AD were the same person.
No, me neither.
So it kind of just leads us to think, all right, well, if AD and Charlotte's killer aren't the same person, what affiliation did they have to each other, if anything?
Right. And
also, what affiliation did they have to Emoji, or does Emoji have with AD? Because there's two distinctive patterns where AD or Emoji clearly wanted to avenge Charlotte's death. That was their big
and
claim.
never signed their name as A. They used the
emojis.
And it was Caleb that said Emoji, which is like, I think what the fans called it anyway. So
yeah,
I mean, granted they filmed those long before, but that person or people never signed their name as A. The girls were just like, fuck, it's starting again.
Right.
And that was that.
So Emoji seemed to be motivated by avenging Charlotte's death, and then AD has just seemed to be motivated with torturing the girls. So what affiliation do all these groups have to one another, if anything? I think is another question. And then, kind of along those lines, we saw an amazing theory video, maybe like 20 minutes long, by Rosewood Spoiler PLL, a YouTube user, about Lucas.
Watch it.
Yeah, go watch it. We'll post it. About Lucas and Mona being like collectively AD. Yes. It's incredibly fascinating, and that user touched on the idea of money being a motive too, which we had already been thinking about with Noel and him being cut off, and even Sarah Harvey too. I think that's an important part of it. Was why would Sarah Harvey work with Charlotte unless there was a money motivation
or something? She had to have a reason.
Right. So we watched this theory, and then it led us to also start to kind of go back and retroactively look at Lucas and Mona and what they've been doing this season. But we've both been
suspicious of anyway. This video just really pointed out, and, with receipts, if, that's receipts. The right word, it really showed why it could be them. And the best part of that, I think this might be what you were about to say, was the coincidence of Lucas coming back to Rosewood and offering Hannah his loft and mentioning that he just bought a factory down by the river. And then later in that episode is where we see AD in their lair. And the lair is in like a factory-like place by a river. And that person is like taking cutting zip ties off those black crates, and inside the crates are the black hoodies, and they throw out the hoodies and start Googling uniforms, and then the AD, as we know, uses the prosthetic masks and always wears a uniform. So for us, that was a very much symbolic,
which we admittedly didn't catch the first time around. It was because of this YouTube user, but so it made us go back and look at recent actions by Lucas and Mona and kind of analyze it. And so we're starting to think about who can we account for and who can we not account for on the night that Spencer was shot, because we have reason to believe that AD is who shot Spencer, because they also take Jenna in the van.
Poach is my favorite word. They poached Jenna.
And so who can we account for and who can we not? And, like, definitively. So we saw there Emily, Allie, Aria, Hannah, Mary Drake, obviously Spencer, because she got shot.
Noel's dead, so it ain't him.
Noel's dead. Toby and Yvonne were crashed somewhere. Ezra is apparently in Colombia from, like, the live footage.
We saw that live.
We can probably believe that.
Yes.
Who we can't account for is Lucas, who I think maybe, I don't know
where.
He
told Hannah he was going to Palo Alto or San Paulo.
I don't remember when that was, but it was
Lucas Pace. So
we don't know where he is. Yeah, Mona. So we're supposed to believe that Mona is with Caleb at the Radley, but we don't
being
know
duped
for
by
a
Sydney,
fact.
who's like wandering around all blind. Like they cart her out every time they need a Jenna lookalike.
Right.
So she shows up and she sends them the drinks, if you remember, and that's how they're like Sydney, and she's like compliments of Jenna Marshall.
and mind you, like I'm a huge Mona fan. I love the character of Mona. I think
and the actress
Janelle's amazing. So I'm a huge Mona fan, but I still don't trust her. I think that's kind of the genius of her character and the way that Janelle plays her and everything.
And I think that could have been another reveal from this last 7/12 episode. It's just coincidental to me, and I made a post about it. You might have read it, or you can go read it. That it was, I know everyone kind of jumps on the bandwagon to bash the new characters, and everyone gets so up in arms when they add someone new in towards the end. But I think that, in this case, Catherine Daly could be leading us towards a clue in that, it's just so coincidental that the one dress that Mona pushes on Catherine is the same dress in a different color that Jenna ends up wearing, and also that's the only dress Catherine, wants, and coincidentally it wasn't one that Hannah wanted to put out because she didn't completely make that design. The only shoes that can go with it are the ones that are in this like little shop in Philly that Hannah goes into and then gets locked in that cage. So it just feels like
they might be
the Mona, the Mona-centric piece of that is nudging her towards her, doom. So
we also thought too that it was odd that we've thought this for a while, that in the 7A finale that Mona is left with Noel, and then the next thing we know, Noel has escaped.
Again, her and Spencer are, I think, undoubtedly the smartest of the characters on the show, and she would leave her captive,
right?
Unattended. And I mean, he's a big guy, like. Mm-hmm. You'd think, if I was leaving Hannah in a room bound, I wouldn't worry about her Arya or Mona. They're tiny, but Noel, could break out of those bonds. So, and he did.
So we don't want to make this too long. But another thing that Kate actually noticed was that on the game board.
Yes.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so there's been some, thankfully you guys are all awesome, and there are plenty of people posting stills of the game board. And looking at it, a lot of people are concentrating on that secret passage. I know that's a big point for analysis and a big focus. But as I was looking at it, I noticed a very small...
deer crossing sign.
Yes, it's a deer crossing sign, and it's like not too far from Spencer's house, and it's next to a big black like scribble that says beware. I think it says beware on it, but the deer crossing sign is right next to it. And again, maybe another small answer, because it can't be a coincidence that Toby and Yvonne were, according to Ezra, taken out by a deer. And everyone kind of thought that line seemed weird. Mm-hmm. And maybe,
that's
maybe
a hint
that's
that they
why.
set it up, or that something happened.
I mean, A has done weirder things than,
plant a dead deer by a car. If that's how they deduced
pig in the police car, if you remember. So
just another
little tidbit.
Interesting thing that we picked up on. So again, we don't want to make this too long. Let us know what you think, if there's anything that you picked up on too that we missed or that we're not thinking of, or if you agreed with some of it. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and we'll see you guys out there. And if you like it, share it, reblog it. We're looking forward to continuing to interact with everyone for these last 8 episodes.
PLL
for better or worse, it's this is the last chance that we all kind of get at this. So hopefully we can at least make something fun of it. If the show is gonna not do that for us. So all right, well, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.